How is Ilia doing health-wise, Dana?
He's doing good. He's doing good. Tough kid, obviously. After the first round, his eye was bothering him. You could see that he got hit. And at one point, he started covering his eye like this and was kind of, messing with it. And then, Justin just kept busting.
Topuria is going to need time to recover mentally, emotionally, and physically. He's never lost before. This is gonna take something to overcome. One of the things that was Topuria's greatest weapons, greatest strengths, greatest traits, besides his overall ability and technically be sound, and he was a full package. He really was. Talent-wise, technique, everything. But one of the things foremost that leads the way for all those things to mean something is he has supreme confidence.
Dana White has finally addressed exactly what took place between Ilia Topuria and him inside the octagon. At the same time, he's revealing what's next for the newly crowned champion, Justin Gaethje, giving fans across the MMA community an early glimpse into the future.
Continue, and then, and I actually think he probably won that round too.
Yeah,
that he went into
round 4.
His corner, I think, stopped the fight, and props to them.
The conversation then turns to the possibility of Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler stepping away from a sport, along with what may lie ahead in their careers. Dana White explains that deciding whether to retire is never an easy choice, emphasizing that the final call belongs entirely to the athletes. If a fighter feels it's the right time to walk away, that decision is theirs to make.
Want to do, it's probably what you should do, but on the flip side, you just beat an undefeated badass, decisively finished him. And I don't know, it's just something that he needs to work out with, himself and his own mind and with his family. Obviously, that Michael fought is just so good. Jeez. And that's the thing about Chandler. I mean, even going into this thing, Chandler's like, look at the guys that I fought. I mean, I fought all the baddest dudes in the division. And the lightweight division is nasty. The lightweight division is like the old light heavyweight division.
MMA guru quickly shared his thoughts on the division's next move, suggesting that Justin Gaethje's first title defense should come against Arman Tsarukyan. In his view, that matchup makes the most sense for the undisputed UFC lightweight championship and could determine who truly stands at the top of the division.
Next opponent should be Arman Tsarukyan in the lightweight division for the undisputed world championship, of course. It's time to give Arman his title shot. I know he's been out for a long time, and if Ilia had won, you'd also want to run the Arman Tsarukyan match because of the bad blood that they have. But now I think you've got to do Gaethje versus Tsarukyan because he's been inactive, but he's still been building his name value. And the wins that he has in the lightweight division, including the win over Charles Oliveira, I know it was a split decision, and I would have loved to have seen it ran back before we don't get a chance to, because it's Tsarukyan next. I know Oliveira has a win over Gaethje. I know he does, okay? And I know that you can use that to say, well, Oliveira should get a title shot against Justin Gaethje, but I think it's time for something new. I think it's time for a new name to be in that lightweight title picture, because Ilia Topuria was that new name, but for a while it was just Makhachev versus Poirier versus Oliveira, and then Khabib was there and he was taking on Poirier and Gaethje, and I just feel like all of the same names have been in the lightweight title picture for a very long time. It's time to let someone new get a chance, and Arman has a win over.
After Justin Gaethje's shocking victory, attention quickly shifted toward the possibility of a rematch. Teddy Atlas believes running the fight back is the most sensible option moving forward. However, he also stressed that Ilia Topuria will likely need ample time to recover, both physically and mentally, before stepping back into competition.
And mentally. And the mental part's going to take probably longer than the flesh to heal and to get right. And I want to say this. There's things that have to happen for an upset like this. And things went right when he made a mistake going to the floor, but still take none away from Gaethje. But what also went right was the game plan.
A closer review of the fight suggests that the ringside physician was ready to halt the action after Ilia Topuria informed officials that he was experiencing vision problems. Despite that concern, input from his corner ultimately led to the fight continuing. The outcome of that decision has since become a major topic of debate and scrutiny.
What the doctor, when he heard it, he only had one way to react. I got to stop this. That it seemed like Topuria said he couldn't see. And when you say that, you're saying stop the fight, basically, because you know what a competent doctor, responsible doctor is going to do. He's going to look out for you. He's going to stop. So it looked like that's what was happening. And then all of a sudden, first of all, it was pretty obvious they didn't want the fight stopped. They didn't want it. I mean, they're good. I'm not saying they were risking his life. I'm not saying that. But they didn't want the fight stopped. I don't think any of us did, to be quite frank. But you don't want to go.
At first, Ilia Topuria's corner appeared to be asking the referee for one more round. But Chael Sonnen later offered a different explanation after discussing the situation with Devin Cole. Sonnen believes Topuria's brother was actually signaling that their side was finished and that the fight should be stopped. He emphasized that the calm and composed body language shown by the corner was the key indicator, arguing that it reflected acceptance of the fight's conclusion rather than any disagreement with the stoppage.
Or the doctor ever stops a fight. And to an extent, if there's ever a 10-8 round, and I'm not quite willing to go that far, but if the referee or the doctor ever stops a fight, that is to let the corner know you have failed at your job. The referee should never be in a position to stop a fight, particularly in between rounds. But even as the action is going, the corner is there. The corner should have stopped it.
Corey Sandhagen shared an important technical observation that many viewers overlooked, explaining how Justin Gaethje effectively mixed in knee taps and the constant possibility of a takedown to influence Ilia Topuria's reactions. By making Topuria account for a threat he may not have been fully expecting, Gaethje was able to create crucial openings, particularly in the clinch, and those opportunities ultimately played a major role in the outcome of the fight.
Is he would shoot to boom, kind of like this knee tap position, and I don't want to like open myself up and start to punch in front. I just get this guy thinking that I'm going to go low. They have to kind of respect it, or else I'll just start shooting real shots. Boom, and then he's starting to throw uppercuts here, which if there's like those little gloves, if they just nick around like the eyes of the bones and stuff, you land enough of those, like they'll start to really like close your eyes, which is exactly what happened. Ilia, I thought, did a pretty good job in the beginning rounds. He made a really weird decision in the second round, like going for arm bars.
Continuing his analysis, Corey Sandhagen praised Ilia Topuria's effectiveness when fighting in close range, highlighting the precise positioning of his head during exchanges as a subtle but extremely important factor. According to Sandhagen, this detail makes it very difficult for opponents to land clean strikes, even when applying significant pressure. He also noted that this matchup exposed a potential drawback for the shorter fighter, explaining that a defensive reaction that is usually considered safe can sometimes create vulnerabilities when facing the right opponent.
Obviously don't hit me, but even if I do get hit when I'm like this, I'm like in such a powerful position, whereas if I'm like this and I get hit, I kind of like get spun a little bit more. So Ilia did a great job in that second round of boom, like keeping his head way pointed and just being here like this, especially being a shorter guy. If you can get underneath someone and start bombing punches, really all that Elias can do from this spot is start to throw uppercuts. But if he starts to throw uppercuts and I'm like looping shots over here, that typically doesn't feel like a super safe.
A closer technical review of the fight highlights a pattern that has caused problems for Ilia Topuria in the past. Throughout the contest, he repeatedly operated at the outer edge of his opponent's striking range and often relied on leaning backward to avoid incoming shots. Right from the opening moments, Topuria aggressively closed the distance on Justin Gaethje, but an unusual jab connected early and set the tone. As the fight unfolded, it became increasingly clear that Topuria may have underestimated the danger posed by his opponent, a mistake that ultimately proved costly.
Gets Ilia Topuria in trouble is when he walks to it the edge of his opponent's range and takes a shot. And he leans back. Ilia Topuria is on his feet. He's a boxer. He's not moving athletically. He's not moving side to side. He's not throwing push kicks. He's not throwing really high kicks. He's not looking to clinch. He can clinch. He can wrestle. But he likes to go about his fights with his hands and getting himself to the right distance. Right off the rip, he goes straight into Justin Gaethje's right in his face.
From the very start, the game plan seemed focused on enduring the initial surge, banking on durability to stay in the fight long enough for things to settle. Although Ilia Topuria managed to land some impactful and threatening offense early on, Johnson points out that once Gaethje absorbed that pressure and remained composed, the momentum of the bout began to change in a surprising direction.
X and not Y. He's going here, 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 here. But when he backs up like this, he uses his shoulder instead of using his feet to avoid the shots that Justin Gaethje is trying to hit him with. So once Justin Gaethje was able to land that shot right here and here and here, you start to see his face swell up. The doctors came in and they were about to stop the fight. And Ilia Topuria goes, no, I can see. I'm glad that they didn't stop the fight because they understand Ilia Topuria's first language is Spanish. So when somebody's talking to him, he's in the middle of...
Wrapping up his analysis, DJ reflected on how this result once again exposed the unpredictable side of MMA matchmaking. Ilia Topuria had previously dominated some of the division's most dangerous contenders. But on this night, Justin Gaethje's unique style and exceptional toughness proved to be an ideal counter. It was a matchup dynamic few could have accurately foreseen. DJ concluded by showing respect for both fighters' technical performances, while also extending his congratulations to Gaethje for one of the standout victories of his career.
The best fights for people. You look at, Khabib fighting Justin Gaethje. Khabib wanted nothing to do with the stand-up. He took him down, mounted him, triangle choked him. Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. They're going back and forth, shootout. Charles Oliveira drops him, gets his back, chokes him out. Then you have Charles Oliveira fighting Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria sleeps Charles Oliveira. And then you have Justin Gaethje taking Ilia Topuria. He basically finishes Ilia Topuria. Just absolutely crazy. It was a beautiful fight. I love every fucking bit of it. The technique, just the torque of Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje fighting inside that phone booth was just absolute.
Beyond the technical analysis, Teddy Atlas highlights a broader point about how crucial experience becomes in moments of real adversity. Although Ilia Topuria has always presented himself with a warrior's mentality, this fight marked the first time he was placed in a truly overwhelming high-pressure situation where nothing was going his way. In contrast, Justin Gaethje has been shaped by years of grueling battles and setbacks, giving him the kind of seasoned awareness needed to handle exactly that type of chaos and turn it to his advantage.